and then said, hey, you are going to bring some souls today, right? He said, yes, sir. We have a big computer printout with us, and we are just going to bring that. And he said, look, don't touch Vaishnavas. The clear instruction to of Yamaraj was, don't touch Vaishnavas. They said, why, sir? Because they are not under our jurisdiction. What happens, sir, if we touch? Asked a servant, out of curiosity. Yamaraj said, you will be fired. Doesn't matter, sir. I want to do your job, sir. That's why no problem. I'll take care. Then said, look, I also will be fired. Along with you. So don't put me in trouble. This is what Yamaraj said. Parihara Madhusudana Prapannan Prabhurahamanya Nrunam Na Vaishnavanam. I am the boss of all the creatures, no matter who they are. Even I can take care of Brahma like Devatas. But I am not supposed to touch Vaishnavas, nor my subjects like you should not touch a Vaishnava. Vaishnava? Yes. And how can we identify one as a Vaishnava? Was the next question. Is it by virtue of their birth? Then Yamaraj said, no way. No one can become a Vaishnava by birth. By birth, one may become a Brahmin, a Kshatriya, a Vaisya, a Sudra. That's it. By virtue of their birth, they can fall in either of these categories. But by virtue of adoption, one can become Vaishnava. How? One who chooses the path of Lord Vishnu and dedicates himself to Lord Vishnu and thinks that he got every relationship with Lord Vishnu and feels the presence of Vishnu in each and every element of this universe, he becomes a Vaishnava. He becomes a Vaishnava. Let him born anywhere. Let him born in any body, no matter whether it is a black body or a white body or a brown body or an animal body or any kind of body. But when he adopts the path of Vishnu, he becomes a Vaishnava. But how can we identify them, sir? Asked. These are inner qualities, right? What we are talking about are pretty much inner qualities, whether I believe the presence of Vishnu in each and every part or not, who knows? And who knows? We can understand just by virtue of his practice. Because when I think that Vishnu is in everything, that means he is in you also, in me also. Isn't it? When I really believe that, if you are crying, hurting your foot, I just can't laugh at you. And a wonderful thing happened, Your foot would have been broken, at least, Since you are saved with this. I never say that. I just can't say that. When you are suffering from some kind of ailment, it is the Vishnu in you is also just feeling the same thing. Then only the feeling comes to you. And Vishnus are not so many. Only Vishnu is just one. God is always one. And if the only one God is in you, and in me also, and if God there in you is suffering, how can God in me can laugh? When He is only just one and the same. So when you suffer, without speaking out also, my heart bleeds. I also feel the pain. If I did not feel the pain, that means I am not experiencing the presence of God in me and you as the same. See, if this hand hurts, this hand also hurts, this hand also feels the same pain. The head also feels the same pain and leg also feels the same pain. When a part of your body is painful. So also, when God is feeling the pain in one body, I think that feel will be there with everyone, whoever realizes the presence of God with them. And I never want to feel pain, right? And nobody wants to feel pain. Nobody wants to, that's right. So, if I don't want to feel pain, then I should get rid of that, right? But how can I get rid of that? What is the origin for this pain, for my pain? Your pain. Seeing your pain only, I started paining my heart, right? So if I have to get rid of my pain, then what should I do? I should reduce the pain of others. If I am able to reduce his pain, because my pain came by seeing his pain, so if his pain is reduced, then my pain is automatically reduced. So, if you really feel the presence of God, Vishnu, in every object of this world, in every creature of this universe, and you never see somebody suffering at all, you just can't. And when you see somebody suffering, you do something so that he gets rid of that pain. He will be relieved from the pain and he feels joy. Then only you will be able to feel joy. Otherwise you just can't. That's how he acts. He becomes a real Vaishnava. He only becomes a real Vaishnava. There is a song which Gandhiji always liked. What is the song? Peed parahi jani. If others are suffering, whose heart bleeds is a real Vaishnava. Killing others and enjoying, forget about it. You know the story of Valmiki, right? A hunter hit a bird and the bird fell down and the other bird was just crying. He started crying. Nothing hurt him, but he felt the presence of same God in the bird and also in him. And when he is crying, then his heart automatically felt that pain. And it came out of him. Manishada Pradishtam. Just he cursed the hand. He is a real Vaishnava. That is how he considers. No matter, in which caste you born and in which race you born. But if the heart is like that, you become a real Vaishnava. This is what Yamara said, it's not my word. Don't take it as my word. It is what the God of death declared, that becomes a Vaishnava. And for anything that he goes to that Vishnu and he surrenders and he asks there only anything and he accepts whatever is given is good for him. Sometimes God may give pain. Sometimes God may give you joy. But he thinks even the pain also given by God, so probably that is for good. This pain is probably to reduce some other bigger pain. So he never says, why should you give me pain? God, you are not really compassionate. I don't believe in you. He never says that. He takes pain and joy as the grace of God. And then he receives both of them equally. It's not that he won't cry and he won't laugh. No. For joy he laughs, for pain he cries. It is bodily thing. But in heart he knows God is compassionate in giving that to him. That's how he takes things in a very, very positive way. But all these are inner qualities. That's what I'm talking about, right? These cannot be, just seen on the surface. Until and otherwise, just you follow the person, you observe the person, you see him for many, many days or years. You just can't understand. Is it real or not? The attitude of a person. Because superficially, oh no, don't cry, don't cry. Yes. But in heart, he may be feeling joy. We see the countries fighting with each other, They say, we love you so much. But they give all the bombs and blast the countries. But do we think really that they are compassionate? So, we just can't assess a person when observed superficially. Then they asked Yamaraj, it seems, that is what the Bharatam says. How can we physically identify that Vaishnava, sir? They asked. So he has given 3 identifications by which we can identify one as a Vaishnava. And the first one is, whoever wears the Shankam and Chakram on the shoulders, and whoever puts the Urdhva Pundram on their forehead, and whoever wears the Tulasi beads garland in their neck. These are physical identifications. So you can consider them as Vaishnava. Why should we put these things? The Shankam and Chakram we have on the shoulders, of course we can hold them. But if we keep hold, we are only blessed with 2 hands. Alright? Right now we are not having 4 hands. After going there we may. But now we have only 2 hands. And if we just hold 2 hands, because they also should be held on the shoulders. And if we keep them like this, how can we do other activities? How can we eat food and drink water? It's very difficult. So he said, you need to heat up the Shankam and Chakram, have the imprints on your shoulders. What happens then? They may erase, after 3 days or 4 days, but the samskara will be there, the imprint will be there in you. That helps you in 2 things. One, burning all the past karmas into ashes. Because all the karmic loads are like the seeds. Seeds, right? Seeds are the ones, who germinate so many things, so many. You take one seed, I think you can procure millions and millions of seeds from one seed. Single seed. It's possible. So, all the karmic seeds that we are having with us should be eliminated. They are like beejas, they are like seeds. How can you stop them? How can you eliminate them? Is there any way? Basically, we don't know what they are and where they are. How can we eliminate them? But for understanding, I gave you the simile like seed. And if there are some seeds, you don't want them to germinate, what do you do?
Chemicals.
You can't eliminate the seed. You see, seeds should be there.
You can't let them grow. You can't let them grow
How?
by controlling the seed growth.
How can you do it?
By doing the satkarma, following the
I am asking about the seeds.
Physical seed. Plant seeds. That's it.
You can fry them. If you fry the seed, seed will be there, but it never germinates. For the seeds which have already sown in the ground, what you can do?
Light a fire there. Start a fire.
How can you fire which is already in the ground?
You don't feed it or water it.
If you don't feed, then nature feeds the water. Rain comes automatic. If you don't give that rain, how are these forests, big forests are growing? Are you going and watering them?
They do some chemical this thing, spread out chemicals to the seeds. That's what
They,
they do.
see, there are some people, trees come from the walls. They apply all kinds of chemicals, but still it keeps on growing.
It's Chinna.
Or hot water.
So can you eliminate that by chemicals? No.
Or
That-
hot water.
The easiest way
Hot water does.
is hot water.
Okay. True.
Hot water stops germination. Finish. But that hot water, if you keep under the sun also, water gets hot. But that water really good. That water also boils at times, if you keep it under the sun. But that water is always helpful for fast growth. It should be boiled on the fire. Then only the oxygen from the water goes. Do you know that? If you keep under the sun and boil, oxygen is pretty much in the water. But on the fire, if you heat up to a little extent, still the oxygen will be gone. Why? I don't understand that logic behind, but it is true. I've seen water because we have in a school in a rocky area, Jagabed. During the summer days, during the May and June, it burns. Literally, the heat will be 50 degrees and more than 50 degrees centigrade. You can imagine how the water will be there. Huh? It boils. If you turn on the tap, the water coming boiled. But still the oxygen is pretty much there. Because it is under the sun. But take it on the water and you keep it on the stove and then boil it or add some fire element to that. And it need not boil at all. Even just it is 20 degrees centigrade or even 25 degrees centigrade of heat is pretty much enough to eliminate all oxygen from the water. Isn't it? Then the water never allows the seed to grow at all. It will be stopped. Why I gave this example is to understand the power of the fire. Power of the fire is such. Don't apply any chemicals, don't spend money, it's wasting money. Fire is enough to take care of everything. So, fire has that power. That's why it is said, when you have the imprints of Sankham and Chakram on your shoulders, add them with fire, heat up, and then take them on your shoulders. That fire burns all the sins to ashes. That is one thing. And second thing, after taking the Samashrayanam also from tomorrow onwards, you may not be doing bad activities knowingly at all. But